When working on any project, you're never going to get it right first time or second time. You're going to have to keep refactoring, and refactoring can sometimes sound quite boring, but actually it can be quite fun because you get to clear up a lot of code and you get to make it a lot tidier, which I think is pretty cool. So in this video today, I want to show you that we're going to refactor some of these buttons. They're going to look exactly the same to the user, but it allows us to reuse these in other places in the site without actually having to have lots of code duplicated all over the application. And this is a great way you can add value to any project, be it your job, a client, open source project. It's super important. And if you have a look at this poster here, this banner, we probably wouldn't refactor that into a component because it's only used in one place at the moment. But in the future, if it got used in multiple places, it's worth doing that. So let's scroll down and have a look and see what else we've got. These features, we might actually use these in multiple places, and we might actually be able to pass the component a number to show how many we want displayed, because another place might have 9 or might have 3 or might have 2, and we could get flex to adjust accordingly. Let's keep it simple today. Let's actually keep this video short and just build a React component for getting started, an example. And I wonder if we could just use one component and pass it a parameter to see if it's going to be the prime one or the secondary button. Let's just have a look at the code. I haven't looked at this in a while, so it's going to be completely authentic for you today. I've actually found the code, so here you go. You can see getting started. It is this link here, and we're using Tailwind CSS. And then underneath here, you've got the example. So you can see the difference in the styling. So we can put a condition on that in the component to jump between the two. If that sounds interesting to you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And while you're down there, subscribe to my channel. It really helps support and doesn't cost you anything. Let's get started. So we've got these two buttons, and they're not going to change on this page. So let's go to the component section in my project. This is the LinkFree project, by the way, link in the description below if you want to go check it out. I think we actually maybe create a folder for buttons, or do we just put it in the, we can always move it later. Let's just put it straight in the root, and we'll say new file, and we'll say button, because we're not going to have more than one. Like we said, we're going to make the condition in the button. This could change in the future, and as we learn more about the project and how we use it, we could then refactor it further. So let's export default function button, and parameters we don't know yet, so we will get to that. And let's return, let's just pick one of these buttons and let's just get it working. So I'll do the example button. I'm going to copy that. I should cut it, but I'll copy it for now, and we'll put it in the return. And if I hit save, you can see my IDE is already taking the project settings and readjusted it all. So we've got that button. We're not passing in any text. It's all hard coded for the moment. I think it's really important to get started one step at a time. I don't try and code too much. Find out it's broken, and you're going through trying to fix bug after bug after error after bug after warning. Do one thing at a time. So now we have got a button, and it's not flexible yet. So let's delete this, and we should be able to include button here. And you can see it's auto-completing for components button, which is ours. So let's put that in, and it's self-closing, and hit save. And if we hit save, well, straight away, we've got an error. That's fine, we've got one. We always expect one. You probably spotted what I did wrong. I didn't include link yet. So now we need to actually import link. But let's just see if the IDE can do it for us. Does it figure it out? It does. There we go. So we've imported link, and now it should work. And you can see this looks exactly the same. Like nothing's changed. If we click it, it will still work. It will still do all the same things it would do before, because we literally copied and pasted that bit of code. But we want to make it flexible. Let's step into that slowly. So let's pass in the text. And I think what we'll do here is we'll put it in as a prop. There are different ways you can do this, but we'll keep it simple for now. So we will put text, and in here we'll use the kind of handlebar brackets, and we will put text and hit save. And now it will break because it hasn't got any text. So we'll need to go back to where we use the component on the main page and pass in the text. And it was example. And if we hit save, we should see no difference. But let me prove to you it's working. Let's do example 2 and hit save. And you can see it says example 2. So we're slowly getting there. The other thing we'll want to do and keep dynamic is the actual link where it goes to. So what we'll do, I will cut that. Or actually, you know what? I will cut the whole thing. And then here we will say href. And then we'll have that as a prop as well at the top. And if we save that and then go back to here, and I will just paste it here. There we go. So we're actually passing it in, so we can use this in multiple places too. Again, nothing has changed. If I click it, it's going to go to the same place and it's going to work. So all is looking good so far. Well, what else have we got in here? So what we've got here is the class names. That's all that's left really. and the other one is slightly different. So what we'll do, we'll step in that direction. What I want to do is keep the current get started link and put button underneath. The text will be get started, and the href will be the same one that we have up here. And if I save it, you'll see we've got a third button and it's get started, which is correct, but it's white and not the kind of bluey purple that we want. So we do actually need to change that. So the difference here is, let's have a look. So here we have, on hover, it goes to that color, and on this one, it hovers, it goes slightly different. Let me check. No, it might go the same. But we want to change the class. So let's just copy this into the other file and we can actually see what the difference is. I'm now actually going to delete this, that I've got the classes that I will need, hit save, and you can see we've got the two buttons, but we want to have a difference. So now if we go back to this file, we've got class name and we've got class name. Obviously we don't want this twice in the component because that's not going to work, and you can see it's underlined, but I'm just trying to see the differences. So I want to delete the things that are the same, and then we can put a condition. So the first thing is inline flex, let's delete. Center, justify, round, border, delete. Okay, transparent is the same, delete. Now it looks like it's going to be slightly different. So let's have a look. So we've got the background, it's got white and purple. This is the same and this is the same. This is also the same. This is also the same, delete. And we've got text white, and on hover, is the color the same? No, it is slightly different. Okay. So that's the differences between them. So we can do this in a couple of different ways. As always, things can be done in multiple ways. So we could use this to kind of append, and then the latest styles will take effect, or we can pull out the differences and do a condition. Let me have a think. Give me a moment. So now what I've been doing while you were patiently waiting was just seeing the differences between the two. So you can see these are underlined, they're saying they're going to overwrite each other, and that's fine. But for one button, we've got this, and for the other button, we've got this, and everything above that is going to be the same for both buttons. So there's different ways you can do this, but I think the simplest way would be to add a prop and say primary, and we could default to false, for example, or default to true. And then what we'll do a condition, and we can set the classes for the class names up here, and then just add the property below. So what I will do is, I think we could do it in multiple ways. There's so many different ways you can do this, which is what makes coding so much fun. What I might do is I might say, let class name equal this string, and that's going to be our default. And then what I might do and say, if primary is true, actually, I thought of even an easier way. What I suggest we do is actually don't have this up here like that. What I think we do is we set class name to be an empty string, and we'll leave these down here, and we'll just append it to the end. What we'll do is we'll turn this string into template literals, and that way we can append it with a variable inside, which is pretty cool. So what we'll do is we'll change it to like this. So you can see we've got the brackets on both sides as if it was a variable, and then we've got the backticks in here, and the string is treated like a string. But the thing we can do is we can actually down here put these into a variable. So let's just append it here at the end, and we can say class name. There we go. And then these two we can take out. So if it is true, so what we can say, if primary is true, let class name equal, and then if its primary is true, then we can set it to this, else do a ternary and set it to this one here. And then hopefully this should all work. And again, we should see no difference in the UI. Let me hit save, let it reformat. Oh, and I've copied the wrong ones. You can see they're exactly the same. Let me undo and see which one I didn't copy. There should be a difference between the two buttons. So it's these two that we need. I'm gonna redo all that, and I'm gonna paste in the strings here. Here we go. So this is the first one, which looks correct. And then this one is the second one, which I didn't copy very well. I still didn't do that very well. See, we all make mistakes. There we go. So what we've got is, if primary comes in, I've defaulted to false, and we could change that. Then use this CSS, otherwise use this CSS, and it will add it onto here. So let's see how that goes. If I make it a bit wider, you can see it all on one line. I think it looks a lot better. So if I hit save, again, there should be no difference in the UI, although they've both defaulted to the primary. So I've kind of got these the wrong way around then. I think the darker one should be the primary button. So let's spin these around. I'll just have to update this, that's a question mark, and that becomes like this. So what have I done wrong? Oops, I need to put the semicolon there. So you can see primary, false, so they're both the lighter version. And what we'll do now is go to here. So you don't have to pass it that parameter, but if you do, and we do primary equals true, now you can see we've got get started is the kind of the purple and the example is the white, and it still works with the hover. So everything is still working as it should, and we've got this new component, but instead of having a lot of these classes duplicated, they are now all in one place. So if everyone want to make any changes and these buttons are going to be used throughout the entire application, then that way we can update it in one place and the button will just update everywhere. Because we're going to want to change styles in the future, make improvements, change themes and so forth. So that I think is super interesting. Let me know in the comments below if that's how you do your refactoring, and refactoring is hard, but it's something that you can do in small bite sizes, right? I haven't tried to refactor an entire page or entire module. I've actually just done a button, and you can see it's a bit challenging at first, but you get into the rhythm and the flow of it, and it's a skill that we do more often. I need to practice it more as well, and I'll be doing it on this project, so you will see my pull request. So now I can raise a pull request, and it shouldn't be too scary, it shouldn't be too many changes. Ignore some of the others, so let me stage these as well. If I stage these changes, the two files that we changed was button, this is the new component that we created, and index. Reduce the code quite a bit as well, and therefore if I want to make any changes, like I said, globally, we can do that quite easily. So it's always nice to reduce the code smaller and smaller and still have the same functionality. I look forward to geeking out with you and pairing with you in the open source community Eddie Hub, link in the description below.